What if your AI assistant could not only talk with you, but see what you see? And what if you could send it out onto the web to handle tasks that you normally have to do yourself? Today, we're going to dive into OpenAI's newest power tools, voice mode, GPTs, operators, and deep research, and see how they might kickstart your own productivity. I'm Bill Eastman, and this is the AI for Your Business channel. It's the channel business people can come to quickly learn how they can leverage AI. Click on the subscribe button below, and you can be sure not to miss any tips and tools. Let's start with voice mode. You can use voice mode on your laptop and interact with ChatGPT verbally instead of typing, and a lot of you will find value in that. But today I'm going to focus on using voice mode on the handset because that's where I think a lot of voice mode's value really comes through. First, you need to download the ChatGPT app to your handset through the normal app store process, and then when you open it up, you see your normal ChatGPT screen. Note that you'll need to be subscribed to the $20 a month plus plan to get all the functionality in this demo. If you click on the voice mode icon to the right of the microphone icon, the advanced voice mode screen is going to come up and greet you. You have a choice of voices. Just go into settings, then voice, and find the voice that you like. Once voice mode is up, you can continue just as if you were typing prompts into ChatGPT rather than speaking. You can converse with voice mode in a fairly natural way because the model's designed for conversation. You can discuss issues with it, brainstorm, or even have it act as a participant in a meeting or a conversation. But what's really cool is when you open your camera with this icon on the left. Then ChatGPT can discuss what you're sharing through your camera. For instance, if you have a complex set of instructions, you can have ChatGPT talk you through them. Or let's say you're doing a site inspection. ChatGPT can point out things that you otherwise might not see. And on top of that, create a summary at the end. You're only limited by your imagination, really. Let's do a quick demo. Say you have a new copier in the office and the manual looks brutal. Voice mode to the rescue.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi there, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you? I see you're looking at a copier machine manual. How can I help?
Yeah, I can't make heads or tails out of this thing. I can read the different parts, but I need some help to figure out what each of them does. Can you do that for me?
Sure, I'd be happy to help you understand what's going on here. I can see a diagram showing various parts of your copier and their descriptions. Let's break it down by looking at the main components. Saddle stitch finisher. This component is used for stapling and folding paper, creating booklets by stapling pages together along the spine. Paper pass unit. This
Right.
moves paper.
I can read those, but can you explain those a little more like the saddle stitch piece?
Absolutely. The saddle stitch finisher is quite a useful feature, especially for making booklets or reports. Here's how it works. Stapling. The finisher has a stapler that can staple multiple pages together along the centerfold. This is great for creating booklets because it binds pages together in a way that they can open flat and be read like a small magazine or pamphlet.
Okay.
After stapling,
Actually, you got me on track. Thanks. I'll come back to you.
you're welcome. I'm glad that helped. Feel free to reach out anytime if you have more questions or need further assistance. Safe travels with your copier manual.
Let's move on to GPTs. GPTs are somewhat similar to the projects feature that we reviewed at the last episode in that they bring together instructions, data, and prompts on a topic. But they're more focused in helping you carry out a specific task. And with a bit of coding, they can interact with your systems to carry out your task. You can see a library of GPTs by clicking on Explore GPTs here on the left. You see GPTs have been created to help with various tasks. For example, we see ones for tutoring, writing, data analysis, and on and on. We can come back to those, but now we'll show you how to create a GPT for your specific task. Click Create in the upper right to open up the GPT creation screen. Here we see the screen divided into the Create tab or the Create pane on the left and the preview on the right. The Create pane has tabs for Create and Configure. In the Create tab, you can enlist ChatGPT's help in configuring your GPT, but let's take a look at the Configure tab to see what's going on. At the top, you can give a name to your GPT, let's say account. Then you give it a description, let's say tool to handle accounting questions. Next are instructions, and this is where the bulk of your work lies. The quality of your GPT depends on the quality of your instructions. Give all of the detail to carry out the task that you would to a bright employee on their very first day on the job. Next, we have conversation starters. Think of these as FAQs. They're the most common questions that users would enter. For example, is the accrual method the right approach in XYZ situation? They'll show up as a list above the prompt window. The knowledge section allows you to upload documents that can act as an exclusive repo for your GPT to draw upon. Perhaps it's a set of documents outlining accounting practices in your industry. Under capabilities, you can activate web search, Canvas, DALL-E image generation, and code interpreter. If you load documents into the knowledge section, you may want to disable web search and have your GPT only draw upon the documents that you've loaded. Enabling the other capabilities depends upon what you're trying to do. If you want your GPT to help in creating images, then you can activate DALL-E. If you want it to help in writing and coding, then Canvas can be useful. And if the GPT is going to help with data analysis, then you'll want to activate Code Interpreter. Finally, we have actions. Actions can really supercharge your GPTs by enabling them to work with your systems. Working with tools like Zapier, the GPT can handle just about any sort of office function. However, they're a bit complicated, so we'll set up an episode in the future here to really go through them. Let's try an example. In this example, we're going to create a GPT that helps a small business develop employee policies and handbooks. The GPT configuration screen isn't the best to review everything that you're going to want to populate the GPT with, so I've assembled them all in a Word document. We'll call the GPT PolicyPro and describe it as helping small business owners create and manage their employee handbooks using standard templates and company-specific policies. We'll add that it ensures compliance with labor laws and tailors content to match business needs. The instructions section looks daunting, but just start by laying out the sections: role, tasks, execution, data to use, examples, and response format. Then you can work with ChatGPT in the Create pane to fill in the details of each of these sections. I'll include the instructions you see here in the video description to give you a template to work from. In Conversation Starters, we provide some examples of ways users can start a conversation. And in Knowledge Base, we've taken employee handbook guides from eForums and Indeed, as well as a handbook on the Fair Labor Standards Act. Now we're going to copy all of this into the GPT Configure pane. In the pane, we see the name up at the top, then the description below that, which annoyingly forces you to scroll to see all of it. The instructions box thankfully expands so you can edit it easily. We see each conversation starter is enabled in its own line, and in the knowledge section, we see our 3 documents. Note that all of the capabilities are disabled, so the GPT will only get its knowledge from the documents we've loaded. So now in the right pane, we see our GPT. At the top is the name, and beneath that is our description, and above the text box are the conversation starters that we created. Let's give the first one a try. And there we have a response based on our custom data instructions. If we return to the main ChatGPT screen and go into the Explore GPTs, we can see a tab for My GPTs on the upper right. Clicking on that brings back a list of the GPTs that you've created, and if you click on one, then we're back in the GPT window. To be honest, If you don't utilize actions, then GPTs don't provide that much value beyond what normal prompting with a good set of custom instructions and uploaded documents would do for you. They do keep you from having to reinvent the wheel, and they can provide some standardization, but that's not a whole lot really. Anyway, we'll take a look at implementing actions in an upcoming episode. Let's move on to Operator. Operator is something totally different than what we've seen for an OpenAI in the past. It's an agent which not only goes out to web pages, but actually interacts with them. After you give it instructions, it opens its own browser, and from there it opens web pages and types, clicks, and scrolls just like you would. If it encounters problems, it can self-correct, but if it gets stuck, it can hand off to you. And that might occur when it needs to log in or provide payment details or solve a captcha or something like that. And Operator is still in beta mode, and it's only available on the $200 a month Pro plan, so I'm not going to do a live demo today. We'll dive in when it's generally available on the $20 Plus plan. Instead, we'll just go over an example from the OpenAI release announcement. The first thing I'll say is, don't waste your time using Operator for trivial tasks like buying tickets or groceries. You'll want to use Operator for higher value tasks that require working through multiple steps on multiple sites. For instance, you can have it go out to a competitor's websites or multiple competitors' websites, check for price changes, and report back. These workflows are going to require attention on your part to develop detailed instructions to ensure everything runs smoothly. But once you've done that groundwork, you can keep on using it again and again. That said, let's take a look at this sample task. Here the user has asked Operator to find and book the highest rated tour of Rome on TripAdvisor. We see Operator starts by opening the TripAdvisor site, clicking things to do, and then it enters Rome tours and continues its exploration, opens and closes tabs, and sorts results. And once it's gone through that, shares its results with you. As I mentioned, Operator is still in beta, but you can imagine how useful it could become after a few generations of improvements. Finally, let's move on to deep research. Like Operator, it's still only available on the $200 Pro plan, so once again, I'm just going to touch on it today. As the name implies, deep research is for those times when you really want to dig in on an issue. It's like having a PhD researcher at your fingertips and could be really useful for areas like finance, science, engineering, and the like. But it can also be useful in assessing your business. And it can even come up with great personalized recommendations for purchases or services. Deep research not only searches through text, but also images and PDFs. And its output is documented with a summary of its thinking, so it makes it really easy to verify and gain confidence in its recommendations. Now, deep research uses the standard ChatGPT interface, but when you're on the Pro plan, you'll see this deep research icon. Prompting is similar to normal prompting. Make sure you follow the prompting practices we've covered in previous episodes. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this has sparked some ideas on how you might leverage voice mode, GPTs, Operator, and deep research in your own business. If you have questions or would like more details, put them in the comments below, and please feel free to share ways that you could see using these tools in your own business. Next episode, we'll be reviewing the new productivity tools that Google has come out with. You might find you like some of Google's tools even more than OpenAI's. So please subscribe to learn these and other ways that you can optimize AI in your business, and leave a like if you feel you've gotten some value today. Till next time, good luck with your business.